Hi everyone. I have been following this black cat energy trend for a while now. And if you are someone who is still trying to understand it, or perhaps you feel you can't quite fit in the role of a black cat, you believe that you have to be someone else, listen further. The thing is, you can actually be a black cat, but you need to do it in your own way. You can stay in your own authentic energy, and the female archetypes I'm going to present to you can help you with that. I'm really excited to share this with you and not to diminish the idea of the black cat by any means, because I find it actually really cool and interesting, but kind of add a different lens based on more like psychology and archetypes. And you might feel that it expands your view. So I invite you just to be open-minded and just pay attention to it because it might help you. Black cat energy. So the idea of being a black cat is in relation to another person in partnership. So one is supposed to be a black cat and the other person golden retriever. And ideally, a woman would be a black cat and a guy would be a golden retriever. Unless you want your roles reversed. So it's all up to you. So the black cat acts like a queen, she's emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually independent. She is detached, passive, and self-sufficient. So she embodies female energy, and it's all about receiving. The black cat knows she will always be okay because she has her own back. She loves herself and she comes first. Okay, do not confuse black cat with someone who is dismissive, avoidant, nonchalant, deeply insecure, and pretending that they don't care or behave as if they're better than others. That's not it. So the black cat is actually very loving and caring, but she has standards. She is very intentional with her energy. So, who does she want to invest in? And she definitely isn't a pushover. What I've noticed is that ladies in the beginning of, their journey when they started dating and so on, they can often be in their golden retriever era. They can be convenient for their partners and try to do everything for them, just kind of shower them with their affection, with services. And it's nothing wrong with that, but balance is so important. I can't stress this enough. And we'll get into that a little bit later. And what I also see that later on in life, women tend to shift in the black cat energy. And that looks like they start recognizing their worth in a healthy way, obviously. And that's when usually their relationships start to shift. And another side note, I'm not a proponent of putting someone on a pedestal because that itself creates a power imbalance, and I just don't get the appeal. If that's what you think it works for you, perfect. But I honestly believe that partnership is the way to go. And obviously, we both bring different energies to the table, and both energies should be appreciated and respected equally, even though they're not the same. So the reason why I made this video is I want to address that some women can't really relate to the black cat or queen's energy, which is more assertive and it seems powerful. So maybe those women aren't that detached. Perhaps they have a soft energy, more like airy or watery. not so much fire, which is very impactful and passionate and strong. Maybe these women might be more gentle, curious, and flowy, and that's totally okay. And perhaps their self concept isn't that solid because they're changing, reinventing themselves, and so on. And that is totally okay because there isn't one single model of how a black cat appears or is like. That's why I wanted to introduce you to the idea of archetypes and how you can still be in the black cat energy by being aligned with the energy that comes more natural for you. Or, in other words, how can you be yourself and the black cat? How does that sound? Okay, let's dive in. So each woman has three dominant female archetypes out of seven main ones, which are Huntress, Maiden, Mother, Queen, Lover, Sage, and Mystic. Think of astrology. Some people have more earth element in their chart, some fire, air, or water. And usually we all have combination of it, right? But certain elements are prominent. And the same goes with archetypes. There are certain archetypes that just feel at home. And there are certain ones that you still have, obviously, but they're not your go-to. And what I'm seeing across the social media is that the queen archetype gets so much praise. Everyone is like, oh, yeah, I'm the queen, being the queen, and so on. But not every woman has queen archetype in her top three. And again, that's totally okay too. So let's start in the beginning. I would like to introduce you all seven archetypes, and for each archetype, I will tell you what you need to be in the black cat energy and what are some of the things that can actually snap you out of being a black cat. And for each archetype, you will see that those things vary. So let's get into it. I'm really excited because I find it so valuable and meaningful. Let's get into it. I really love this information and I can't wait to share it with you. Okay. Huntress is the first one. And if you imagine Huntress archetype, she is this courageous, determined, and resilient woman. This archetype embodies strength, bravery, and the willingness to fight for what is right. So, in partnership, what a woman with this energy needs to be aware of is that she doesn't need to be in charge or controlling or hyper independent, have this attitude, I can do it all, I don't need anyone. Or even further, maybe this woman might be fighting with men instead of being on the same team. So that's a big one. Like, keep all your amazing qualities, but use them use other outlets, to channel that energy. So Huntress needs to know that she's not in a fight. She can be assertive without fighting. And as I said before, she can use this energy to fight for causes that are important for her heart, outside of partnership, something that she feels super passionate about. Find somewhere where she is needed so that she can advocate for others. And I believe that whoever has Huntress archetype, they can never be a golden retriever, not in a traditional sense. But she will push a partner away because she will act in her masculine energy by being in defense mode and ready to fight. So she will still do a lot of things for her man instead of, being in this receiving and surrendering mode. but her energy will be very active. And don't confuse that with being empowered. Okay. I hope this makes sense. If not, or if you have any questions, drop them down below because I really want this to be clear. Okay. Next one is Maiden. And Maiden probably doesn't have the best rep in our culture because she's perceived as inexperienced and, naive and so on. And usually also because she represents a woman in her early stage of life. But let me tell you, ladies, this is freaking powerful energy because it brings to the table a lot of attributes that men find irresistible, which are besides youthful energy, being creative, be sensual, enthusiastic, spontaneous, having this lightness, curiosity, innocence, wonder, excitement, laughter. Wouldn't you agree that these are some fine qualities to have? Like, seriously. And here's the catch, though. What a woman with this archetype needs to be aware of is that she doesn't become codependent, too trustworthy or naive, and stays connected with her power. So she can actually very easily become golden retriever if she lets someone else control her and just take her light, her excitement, and her sensual energy. It's important that she is in touch with her power. That's super important. And again, let me know if you have any questions about this one. Okay. Then we have Queen. And well, Queen or the Queen is in her power. When she's in her power, she is the black cat, right? So an empowered partner, self-sufficient, she knows who she is. She has this deep sense of self-worth, self-esteem. She brings qualities of leadership, power, and responsibility to the table. And the important thing is that she rules with her heart. Otherwise, she might be ruthless and standoffish. And again, take on too much and be her masculine and make her partner passive, which again isn't in her, she's not in her feminine, but in her masculine. So that can make her golden retriever, even though not in traditional sense, right? But she definitely cannot be a black cat if she's overdoing, if she's controlling, and she's not embodying energy of trust, surrender, and receptivity. Okay, this one is important. We have the mother archetype. And for a lot of women, this archetype is prominent, but not for all. And I can't emphasize this enough. And this is regardless if you have children or not. It doesn't matter. You still can have the mother archetype. I would like to address this because I believe society pressures this archetype on all the women out there. So if you relate to mother archetype, if this is really something that's, in you, then caring, nurturing, loving is your energy. However, make sure that you don't see your partner as your child or your project. Obviously, extend care and love towards them, but not in a motherly way, because that will completely ruin your partnership and just turn off the balance. If you're in a role of his mother, then also sexual energy cannot flow in healthy way and so on. So being his mom, therapist, or caretaker is a huge no-no. And as always, you don't have to believe me. Try it out yourself and report back with your finding. I'm curious. If you don't agree, that's totally fine. But what I've seen with myself, my clients, that doesn't work. Well, it might work, but it's not fulfilling for a woman. And I can also say not for men. If you don't have motherly energy, you might do things out of obligation and pay attention to that, okay? Because we are culturally programmed this way. And I feel that, the biggest problem is that a woman does something for others. And then because it's not her natural expression, she expects something in return, because the act itself, being in a mother role, isn't fulfilling because it's not her natural energy. So when you do things for others out of obligation and don't get reciprocated, you might turn into martyr energy or martyr archetype. And you can become bitter, resentful, you lose self-respect, you lose power, and joy just flies out of you. So turn this caring energy toward yourself first. Always. You are number one. That's so important. Next, we have the lover archetype. So this one brings passion, sensuality. She's romantic and represents intimacy, pleasure, emotional connection. It's just so nice. So the lover archetype isn't about being in love with one person, but in love with life and channeling this love through your hobbies, passion, career, whatever you desire. You're just kind of, your body is a vessel for love that you're pouring out and just, giving and exchanging with the world. And that can also be your family, obviously. So what I'm saying is it's not one-dimensional. It's not like, okay, I'm a lover now, and now I have to find a person that I can connect with and pour all my love into. It's not just that. The thing about the lover archetype is that she can be a great black cat, but she needs to be aware of her emotional dependence, which can turn into obsession and manipulation. So make sure that the way you channel your energy is in a constructive way. So there is nothing wrong with being passionate, but use it as a constructive force for good. So your emotions are your responsibility to make sure that you know how to channel them so that they don't run you, but rather you direct them. The last two archetypes that I wanted to present to you are sage and mystic. Sage is all about knowledge, intuition, wisdom, self-reflection. The only thing Sage has to pay attention to is that she's not too much in her head or in her mind, because a woman needs to be in her body. And she shouldn't be over analyzing and rationalizing things all the time, because that's very masculine energy. So because that will, kind of switch in her masculine, then when she's not connected to her body, her feelings, she cannot connect with her partner if they are masculine in the same way. And obviously, it's all about the balance, right? If masculine energy is needed at your work, that's totally fine. But in partnership, if you want to be in your feminine energy, you shouldn't be overanalyzing and rationalizing all the time. Because, as I said, it won't bring balance in your relationship. Mistake, the last one. This can be the ultimate black cat because mystic can never be fully revealed. You know, as a woman, if you reveal everything about yourself, there is no more mystery or curiosity, nothing to explore. Imagine reading a novel. There is a thrill when you're immersed into the story, not knowing what will happen with the characters. It feels exciting. But, think of when someone tells you the whole plot and the end. Is it still the same? Do you still have the same excitement? Well, probably not, right? That's why we're like, spoiler alert, or please don't tell me more. Okay. And obviously, I believe that we can't know someone like 100%. Why? Because we are all always changing and evolving. If you're curious about someone, there is always something new you can learn about them. Always. You just have to be curious and ask the right questions. But with Mystic, they just have, they don't have to try to conceal things. It's just in their nature because they might not even see the all aspects of themselves, or there is a lot of introspection. They like to be in their own energy. So, their inner world is very rich and they might not be willing to share it with everyone, which, it's great. That's what I believe. Okay. The problem is that with Mystic is that she's not too detached. When she's not, and again, when she's too detached, she's not connected to her emotions. She can be cold. She can be in her masculine, and she's not present with people that She loves. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. I'm really curious if you want to learn more about these archetypes and how to relate to them. And what's really important is that be you, be yourself, because that's your power. Seriously, be authentic and don't think you need to be someone else. You don't. Sometimes all you have to do is just switch the energy, um, change the behavior, and as a woman, surrender more, be open to receiving, and trust life, trust yourself. And you can really only be the best at being you. And trust also that you're perfect as you are. Otherwise, you would have been a different person. So there is a good reason you are the way you are. Okay, if you want to learn more about the archetype, I'll leave the link to my course in the description box down below. And please like and subscribe to my channel. This is really helpful for me. It helps me grow and spread the message because I would love more people to just learn about these things and be self-aware and have more power over their own lives. Okay, thanks so much for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.